following program is brought to you in living color on NBC.
Here's Johnny.
Great joke. The makings of a great joke.
My first guest, I'm sure everybody in the world knows. She has played, I think, twice already, the Princess Leia, right?
Yes.
Kind of a feisty heroine in Return of the Jedi, and she did 2 earlier chapters of that. So this is her 3rd time. Star Wars and The Empire Strikes Back, now Return of the Jedi. This is her first appearance with her. With her.
The audience is right.
The audience is right. I'm losing my speech, and the lady said I cannot hear anymore. This is a very cruel crowd we have here tonight. They are really out to get us.
This is the first time she's ever been with us.
Yes.
I'd like to make that clear.
Okay. Would you go? Well, would you? Here's Carrie Fisher.
Carry the little
What?
footstool, I think.
We have a little. Don't. Oh, you see that just comes right out
Yeah,
there.
thank you. See?
It's called our Princess Footstool. I don't know what's happening with my speech this evening.
Well,
Everything seems to be coming out garbled. You ever have days like that when you start
I
to?
hope it's not tonight, but yes, I do have days like that.
You start to say something, and you're either thinking ahead. What do they call that? There's a word for that.
Making a big mistake.
No, I had it a lot with some of the science fiction talk. We had to say, I
the
placed
dialogue.
information vital to the survival of the rebellion of the memory systems of the R2 unit.
Give me that again now. That's not easy. I have some.
I have placed information vital to the survival of the rebellion of the memory of this R2 unit.
That's murder.
Yeah.
What happens? You know what happens? I think very often, whether it's television or movies, once you are conscious, it is almost impossible to get it because it starts to get funny. Now
Well,
you
you
try to
just-
get straight and serious, and it just goes.
We would have long speeches. That was part of the hologram speech, and
Right.
it just, you feel like you're just humiliated, and it's over and over and over, and it's just, you'll never get this bucket of old past. You'll never get that bucket of old past blockade. You'll never get.
Cut.
No, it's just,
Again.
Yeah.
You see, in motion pictures, though, we can't stop.
Oh
And
no!
do
You
it.
mean everyone's going to see this?
This is going. Yeah, this is
I
going
know
out.
I get to do it over
This
again.
goes out just as it is. We. You told me. You were said we've not. I got too much pine tar in my throat. I had 2 questions in mind. I was going to say we had not met before, and I knew, and then I was changing the question to say I saw you. Of course, I saw you. We were sitting in a chair in makeup, and you said, "I'm trying not to be nervous." I said, "Why would you be nervous on this show?" This is easy.
I've never been on this show, and
Yeah.
it's I do get nervous. I don't know what I'm going to say, and I think I'm going to go.
Yeah, don't worry about it. But we did meet, I understand, some years ago in Las Vegas.
Yes, but I think I was about 13 years old, and I just used to try and hide in Las Vegas. I don't think it's appropriate to be in Las Vegas at 13. You don't really know what to do. I never did it. The only thing I could figure out to do.
Was your mother working there at the time?
Yeah, and I was in her act.
We probably should establish that you are the child of Debbie Reynolds and Eddie Fisher, right?
I guess we should establish that.
Well,
Let's get it over with.
well, people might not remember when you say I was working there. Your mother was
Yes.
working there.
So I was working in a nightclub act, and I was 13. So there's not much for you to do. You can't gamble. So I would try and think up things to do. So page people by the pool. Adolf Hitler, please. Mr. Hitler, please.
You're kidding.
Well, you're 13. You want to make Greta Garbo, and you get people looking around. I mean,
Page
you
people that are
work there.
gone.
What do you do to make it interesting?
Well, I was asleep most of the day. How come you would be working in a nightclub act at age 13? Was that allowed? You have to get some kind of special waiver
I
or
guess
what?
so, unless if it wasn't, I'm sure in trouble now. But yes, I worked from 13 to 16 in Las Vegas
Right.
as part of my mother's act.
Right. What'd you do in the show?
I sang and flung my chords around and so on.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. What else did you do to kill the time in Vegas? You get on page people.
I page people. Well, you do things like give surprise parties for people whose birthday it wasn't. Then it's really a surprise. They
like
start
that.
singing along, and suddenly the cake comes toward them, and they start to get,
And it's not their birthday?
No. That's the best surprise party you can give to someone.
You have a weird sense of humor. I like that. Was it, when you grew up, of course, you have both parents are in entertainment business. The average child would look at that from afar and say, gee, that must be glamorous. But when you're there, you're not conscious of it at the time. You're just the child of two people who happen to be in the entertainment business. But did you know that you were in some kind of glamorous business?
Not until I started watching Father Knows Best and stuff, and I thought, now, those guys, Mom doesn't come home on that show and wash body makeup off and wear sequins and take a wig off and things like that. And something's off here. But I went to school with a lot of other kids that did the same thing. But, I mean, there was Mom, Mrs. Anderson, making a roast, and my mom was, flinging a mic cord and...
Yeah. So to you, it was kind of normal until you...
It was normal for me, but then at about 16, I went,
Yeah. This isn't quite right?
Yeah, this is, I thought everybody had movie star parents.
Living your own fantasy.
Yeah.
Let's do this commercial, Fred. We shall do it, and we're coming right back, so stay tuned. That sounds like a We are back. Merchandising. We're talking with Carrie Fisher. Who did you hang out with as kids? Who were some of the other kids? Were they also children of movie stars?
It would be studio heads, children, and Dean Martin's children, and it would be like that.
Just normal, everyday kids.
Just all regular, yeah.
Somebody told me you were not allowed to get dirty.
No, we were photographed a lot. We were allowed sort of once a week. We were let loose on the gutter, and then we could get dirty, which is a big thrill for us. It's one of the reasons I went into show business was I visited the set and watched my mother fall in mud and stuff, and I thought, well, there's a way to do it.
But as a child, because of the demands of the pictures all the time, they would...
Yeah, there are more photographs of me, and I had a horror of it. I grew up on a movie star map.
Right.
I mean,
No, I didn't, though. You see, not as a child.
But, I guess there is I could get traumatized by it if it's still photographs and those light bulbs going off.
Does it still bother you when the press shows up?
Not as much, but I mean, I was in Modern Screen at 2 hours old, and it wasn't even a good picture.
You were aware that they didn't get your right side at 2 hours old?
It wasn't a good angle,
Good angle at 2 hours old. Now, you're in this picture, Return of the Jedi. You've done Star Wars Empire Strikes Back. It's become a big business, these pictures. How much has this picture made so far? I keep reading every day. Something like $200 million already.
I think so, yeah.
And will probably be one of the biggest grossing pictures of all times. And somebody said you felt a little awkward coming here to talk about this picture because it doesn't need a lot of help.
I was going to bring a clip of another film, because I just thought, well...
I always ask people what's the worst picture they ever made. I don't know why. Maybe it's just my...
What's the worst picture?
The worst picture you're ever in.
Usually for me, it's when the experience of making it isn't so much fun. I didn't have that much fun making Under the Rainbow.
Yes. Now, when you do pictures like Star Wars and so forth, you don't see everything that's going on around you, do you? Because a lot of that stuff is done later.
No, most
special
of it.
effects.
So they just say there's going to be a giant, horrible monster with mucus falling from its face, and you just do that.
That's got to be a little difficult because...
I started doing the films when I was 19 years old, so it's sort of like that's one of my specialties.
It's reacting to...
It's something that's not there. I have trouble reacting to things that are there now. I'm so used to reacting to things that aren't there. Johnny.
I understand. I'm reacting now to things that aren't there, yes. We have a film clip. Where does this take place in the picture?
Well, I think this is with one of the Ewoks, which are the sort of teddy bear people that also can kill stormtroopers. Effective teddy bears.
You have to buy the premise. Okay, roll it. Those of you who have seen the picture will know the scene.
Cut it out!
I'm not going to hurt you. Oh. Come on, sit down. I promise I won't hurt you. Now come here. No. All right. You want something to eat? That's right. Come on. Hmm?
Remarkable. Well, the beginning of Star Wars when you're 19, are you afraid you might get typecast as Princess Leia?
Well, I figure if that happens, I can just go on playing princesses. I can do Princess Margaret in the movie of the week. And
Princess Di, just keep going on?
Princess Di.
They probably know you all over the world, don't they? Because, I mean, all these pictures now are almost in worldwide distribution.
Well, as Princess Leia, I mean, if I went around with that silly hat or walked
You'd be
around with a little
recognized.
furry creature, yeah.
Except here in Hollywood.
No, then they wouldn't bother me.
No, they're just a couple of people out for a stroll. We have to take a break? All right, we take a break, then we're going to come back for the inside story of the Carter-Reagan debate. Right after.